I'm the first to admit that I got into a relationship with healthy eating for all the wrong reasons. We were frenemies. We were not buddies. I hung out with healthy eating, but like it was a bad relationship. I was always obsessed with what I could eat and what I couldn't eat. Healthy eating felt like a chore. It felt like punishment. It felt like something I needed to do to fix my body. And when I created a better relationship with healthy eating, everything changed. I now naturally choose a salad because I like how it tastes. Like genuinely, I can be at a restaurant and I would often choose a salad over a burger simply because I like it. I want to eat healthy foods. I crave healthy foods now. That tumultuous relationship is done. And what has emerged is a beautiful, new, trusting relationship where healthy eating is something I get to do, not something I have to force myself to do. If you feel like healthy eating is a struggle, it's like a punishment, it's something that you have to force yourself to do, stick with me. We're going to do this. I'm going to teach you how you can fall in love with healthy eating and why diets are a total scam. The first thing I did and the first thing you have to do is break up with diet rules. You might be saying, oh, I know diets suck. Diets don't work. But I can't tell you how many smart, brilliant people I meet all the time who are accidentally dieting. And the key to that is something called diet rules. What are diet rules? Well, they're like these really crappy souvenirs that you get from dieting. They're things like can't have carbs with every single meal, can't have carbs after a certain time, or I have to eat carbs because sometimes these diet rules contradict themselves. And as a result, when you go to make a food decision, all these diet rules are clouding your brain, making it really tricky for you to simply choose the food that you would like to eat. And here's the thing I want you to know. Diet rules don't help you eat healthier. In fact, diet rules lead to weight gain. Let's take calorie counting, for example. Calorie counting leads you to eat the exact same thing every single day, which is incredibly boring. So you can only really stick to it for a short period of time. And then when you no longer feel like calorie counting, you probably end up binge eating on all the very high calorie foods. And then you regain any weight that you lost by calorie counting plus more. Except this time, the relationship with food is in a much worse place. Calorie counting is stupid. I created an entire video about why calorie counting is stupid. So if you haven't watched that, please go and watch that video, particularly if you are a calorie counter. I think the thing I need you to know is that only 4% of diets work in the long term. Most people lose weight on a diet successfully because diets are easy to stick to with all their rules. But fundamentally, they're unsustainable. So you might go, well, should I try intermittent fasting or should I try going keto? And my answer to you would be, sure, if you can do that for the rest of your life, then that sounds like a good thing to do. But I don't know about you, but I don't want to fast intermittently for the rest of my life or avoid all carbohydrates. So as a result, on those diets, you will likely regain it when you're no longer sticking to all those diet rules. So this is why to fall in love with healthy eating, you need to break up with these diet rules. That doesn't mean that we totally give up on healthy eating. What you might find is that you more naturally want to make healthy choices. If you want to learn more about this, a really good place to start is to read my book, Your Weight is Not the Problem. I wrote it for anyone who is a compulsive dieter, who has tried everything and feels like everything has failed them before. You haven't failed to diets. Diets have failed you. Do you remember during COVID times where people were panic buying toilet paper and shampoo and like tins of beans? Why were they doing this? Because people genuinely feared that there would not be enough to go around. And as a result, as they hoarded as much as they possibly could. The exact same thing happens with you and food. So the minute you give yourself all these diet rules, you're basically sending yourself into a panic state where you have to try and eat as much food as you possibly can. You might hear yourself say a phrase like, I'll start again fresh tomorrow, or diet starts Monday is a common one.
You start Monday.
This is what I call food scarcity, and it can make you feel crazy around food. The opposite is food trust. That's when you know anytime I want more food, I can have it. I can have it in the next 10 minutes. I can have it in an hour. I can have it tomorrow. You then have the choice. Do I want to eat this? Now, if you've been a compulsive dieter, you're probably not going to have much food trust at all. As a result, you're going to have to force yourself to eat healthily. What I would recommend and what I did is I created a healthy relationship with food. This isn't a quick fix. I wish it was a quick fix, but it's not. It is something that takes time to rebuild that trust, to help your body realize that anytime you want food, you can have it. If you aren't already following me on Instagram, I share lots of free tips about how to create a healthy relationship with food, how to build food trust. You can find me, I'm at nude_nutritionist, but I promise there's no nude photos, not even one. I'm sorry. Or maybe you're welcome. Another really important thing I did is that I chose satisfaction over calories. You see, when I was in this turbulent relationship with healthy eating. It kind of felt like my mistress, like it controlled me. I had all these food rules, right? I would avoid eating things like adding oil to my food. And as a result is the food I ate was not very satisfying. I'd finish a meal and I'd go, I really feel like something sweet. I really feel like eating more food. And next thing you know, it's the afternoon and I'm like hiding in the pantry, getting as much food as I possibly could. When I started to choose satisfaction over calories, it meant that I actually felt full and enjoyed my food. And as a result, I wasn't constantly seeking out more food. That afternoon compulsive snacking was like something that used to happen to me, not something that was currently happening to me. Did you ever read that book, Why French Women Don't Get Fat? I did. It was from like the 2000s and it was absolutely a diet book. But I think one of the things I learned from that book that I think is valid even for non-dieters is this idea that the French people, they eat food that is satisfying. As a result, you probably need a little bit less. If you're adding cheese and oil and nuts and seeds and avocados, yes, these have calories in them, but you're going to find that you're so much more satisfied with the food that you eat. Have you ever heard of this thing called the satiety index? Well, a bunch of researchers looked at how satisfying different foods are. And what they found is foods like potato, pasta, bread are hugely satisfying. And which are the foods that diet culture likes to villainize? Potatoes, bread, pasta, right? And so what we do is when we're counting calories is we cut out these really satisfying foods. And naturally what this means is it feels like we're not getting satisfied by our food and we keep looking for more. This is such an important thing to do. Something that you can do today is stop looking at calories and start making sure that what you're eating is satisfying you both physically, so you feel physically full, but also that you feel emotionally satisfied after eating. You might find that that out of control snacking becomes a thing of the past. Now, don't go anywhere. I've got a few more tips to help you fall in love with healthy eating. But if you aren't already, please subscribe to this channel. I'm a dietitian and nutritionist, and honestly, I just want to help you have a better relationship with food. You got a burning question, something I might be able to help you with, please leave a comment below and hopefully I can create a video helping the thing that you're struggling with. All right, let's continue with the fourth thing that I did that was so important is I stopped attaching health goals with weight. This was so critical, whereas previously what I had done is I'd only done healthy things to lose weight. So when I didn't lose weight, or sometimes I even gained a bit of weight from maybe, doing weights at the gym, I stopped doing the thing. I stopped lifting weights, or I'd start running. And if I didn't lose weight at a fast enough pace, I'd stop running. But fundamentally, don't you think if I kept running or if I kept lifting weights, my body was going to change? But because I was so short-sighted and just kept focusing on the weight, I ignored all the other benefits that came with lifting weights and running. And so if you struggle with consistency, the question I want you to ask yourself is, would I do this even if I didn't lose weight? Let's talk about healthy eating. So one of the things I was doing, and this plays into the previous things we've talked about, is I'd make these salads, like really sad, boring salads. The type that are really low calorie, that like tick the boxes with like boiled vegetables in them and no salad dressing and nothing fun added to them. The only reason I was forcing myself to eat these salads is because I was trying to lose weight. And so after a few weeks of eating these sad salads and being like, I'm not losing enough weight or I'm even gaining weight, I stopped eating all those vegetables. Never found the fun in eating vegetables. It was always tied to my weight. When I started choosing satisfaction over calories and add in the yummy stuff, I found that naturally I wanted to eat a salad because it finally tasted good. Therefore, I didn't have to force myself to choose a salad over a burger. The salad was delicious. So maybe the reason you hate vegetables is because you're making them really boring and you need to add more flavor and you need to stop attaching health goals with weight. You need some new recipe ideas. I have your back. I have 50 recipes that I'd love to give to you because I know the struggle when you're trying to work out what the hell to make for dinner every single night. So I'll leave a link below so you can get that recipe book. Just loads of budget-friendly recipes that you can make at home, very few ingredients and loads of flavor, because that matters. And the fifth essential thing that I did to fall in love with healthy eating is I broke the health pendulum swing. So I don't know if you've done this before, but let's say it's like New Year's Day. You're done with all the overeating. You're done with drinking so much and you create 50 habits that you now want to do and you swing the health pendulum far into that health kick side. As a result this is so unsustainable to be this extreme with all these healthy habits that you can't help but swing the other way. And the pendulum swings to the far side of being unhealthy and getting takeaway all the time and not exercising. If you are an all or nothing person, then you are stuck in the health pendulum swing. And what we know is that real health is over here. So if you have a healthy habit that you are thinking about starting, the question I want you to be able to ask yourself is, can I do this for the rest of my life? Like I talked about with intermittent fasting or going keto, if you can't go for runs a few times a week or be willing to prioritize a good grocery shop, if you can't do that for the rest of your life, then any weight that you do lose is just going to be temporary. I think the key to being able to commit to something and doing it consistently is maybe taking a little bit more of a gentle approach to our habits, rather than saying, I want to run every single day, which I don't know about you, I could not do that. Maybe it's I want to run twice a week. And maybe instead of doing 5Ks, I want to just start with 3Ks. Okay, maybe that sounds a little bit more doable. And once you're at that point that you're running consistently, you're doing 3Ks twice a week, and you're going to add in a little bit more. Instead of saying, I want to meal prep every single meal for this entire week, I could only maintain that for a few weeks. I don't know about you. Instead of doing that, what if you said, I just want to cook one more night a week? And when I cook, I want to double the recipe. So I've got twice as much food and I always have those healthy options at hand. You see how by making our goals more gentle, we can be more consistent, and we stop that health pendulum swing from swinging so widely. And as a result, we get a whole lot more balance and consistency. And this is how you fall in love with healthy eating. Lastly, I want you to know this. If you keep regaining the weight you lost on a diet, you didn't fail the diet. The diet failed you. It's time to take a new approach to food, to healthy eating, and you can fall in love with healthy eating where it doesn't feel like a struggle. All right, so that's all I have for you today. If you do need a little bit of extra help creating those healthy recipes, falling in love with healthy eating, I have an app called Back to Basics, which you can try for free. So go in there, grab some healthy recipes, maybe try to do 1 or 2 a week, and you're going to find you are so much more consistent with healthy eating. I'll see you next time.